started up the car for the first time. As you can see, it was profusely leaking fluid on both ends of the rack after literally rebuilding it with new seals. God, this sucks. At least I'm pretty good at taking this rack out. Took me less than an hour. That's the rack. And I had to pull out the sway bar and the tie rods. I can say I'm pretty pissed, but this is what learning is about. And at least if I'm gonna document this and how to fix this issue, you guys don't have to go through the same pain that I'm going through. So I'm gonna clean up, get everything off to the basement, and then we're going to quote unquote repair what we messed up. All right, so this is like the 70th time I'm trying to film this. So we have our shaft over here. This is the passenger side, and then the driver's side has the teeth on it that go to the pinion gear. What I did is I took the seal that would go here, and then the washer, just remember the flat side of the washer, it's facing the front of the seal. What we are going to do is we are going to use this essentially as a tool to drive the teeth, or my bad, the seal into the housing, because this seal needs to be pressed into the housing. That's the problem, and that's why we were having sealing issues. So I'm gonna run this through. We're just gonna be incredibly delicate here. I'm gonna push it through. Keep pushing it through. And then there's a few options, right? What we're gonna do is we're gonna take a socket and an extension. So I'm gonna take one that's properly sized. I have a 19 mil here, but we're probably gonna try an 18 at the end of where the honestly, I might even try a 17. So obviously everyone's sockets are gonna be different. Find what fits best for you. In my situation, I think a 17 mil will work just fine. And to be honest, I am going to use an extension that's not too long. That way I can just kind of have better leverage at hammering it. So if you heard that, that means that you probably got it in there good. So if you can take the shaft, pull it, and you hear a suction like so, that means that we probably drove it in fine. I'm gonna try my best to inspect it, but we probably should be okay. So inside the housing, as you can see, I just pulled out the shaft, like so. And in the housing, our seal and our washer are completely installed. You're not gonna be able to see that. You can kind of see it right here, but it's installed. Now, the biggest issue with all of this is installing this shaft back in here without having the teeth completely destroying the seal. And this is it has proven itself to be an incredibly difficult task. So just be incredibly careful with how you push this through. You don't want to destroy the seal. So if you want to inspect it, just be very cognizant that the teeth can easily mar it up. So make sure to lube up the teeth as best as you can, if you can. And to verify that we have a seal that's strong, you can hear that hiss. So that's good. And next, we're going to try to assemble everything back. So here we are, just like so. What's gonna happen is we're going to take the seal that we once assembled on the passenger side. So the rack bushing, which is this guy right here with our O-ring. Make sure this is all lubed up. And what you wanna do is you just wanna push this in just a little bit. Doesn't have to be in all the way. No need for that. Be very gentle with installing this guy in here. So just have it in, just so it's, just place it in. Don't push it in all the way. And the reason why, I'll show you that in just a moment. We take our rack stopper right here, push it in a little bit. And we want to push it in slowly. And the way we push that in is, if you guys remember, there's an opening or a hole. The hole looks like this. That hole, you want it to be apparent in the oval or the little opening right here. So just keep pushing it very, very slowly. And then you'll notice that hole. So I'm pushing it with my hand. Boom, we see the hole right here, just like so. And then we're gonna lock it all into place and verify to see if everything seals as it should. So if you remember this guy, this evil guy, this pesky guy, just ensure that we're gonna very much make sure that it's sealing on both ends, and I'll show you how to do that. I fell into an issue where I completely demolished this clip by not really putting it back together properly. So I had to take that out. But I did want to demonstrate pretty much how we verify that the seals are sealing correctly just before we seal up everything. So I have the clip out of the car right now. So if you remember, there's 2 holes inside this pinion housing. It's gonna be tough to see, but I'll insert an image. I'm gonna cover up both of those holes with my finger. And on the driver's side of the rack, as you can see, oops, there we are. On the driver's side of the rack, if I push it forward, it springs back just like that. So we know that that side of the seal is going. And then likewise, if I do it on the other side, so I'll bring the rack forward and do the same thing. You may not notice, but we got spring action on both ends, so it's returning. That's like a good thing. And that's kind of what we want. At first, like, it can be very violent, but as long as it's returning, our seal is sealing, which is good. So I'm gonna install the clip back on, test it in the car, and then hopefully we should be all good. I guess this is how we're doing it.
My idea, by the way. The vise is the ultimate wrench.
At this point, we're just using the vise because that thing is impossible. Cool. Then spin it just a little bit more, just so the clip can lock in.
It's in.
Cool. Looks good. Oh, yeah. All right, so I'm putting the whole rack together. I tightened up that pinion plug piece here the adjuster. So I tightened up the adjuster for 14 foot-pounds. If you notice, I literally cannot move the rack by hand. So I only torqued it down. Now the FSM says drag it down by like 20 to 30 foot-pounds. Now I did like 45 here. And notice I still really am having a hard time moving it with ease. Now you can take a torque wrench, or some vice grips. And what you can do with those vice grips, if we can find one. There we are. I usually take the vice grip, tighten it down, and I'll put it on the shaft. If you can like try to not put it on where the splines go, that will do you a pretty huge favor. So try to avoid the splines. So let's see, it's a little too tight. All right, again, probably too loose. Boom. And you can adjust it based off of feel. So if I tighten it a little bit more, like I backed it off like roughly 45 degrees, you'll notice if I tighten it down, it gets a little trickier. So there's a ton of resistance here, and where there's a resistance, feel it, it's very tough. So I like to make it a little loose. You can adjust this in the car, but I like to go pretty much feel it out. And when there's tension, I'll back it off just a little bit, roughly about 45 degrees. And we'll tighten this guy up with the lock nut. So did that, tightened up the pinion plug to 22 foot-pounds. And huge recommendation, you probably want to use Loctite on this. This is actually pretty notorious for backing out, so definitely if you can, do that. And that's really it. We have to really test and see if everything works though, so that would be a sad story. That would be a sad story. After that big headache and technically rebuilding the rack for a second time, we have power steering, so that's good. Good assist. I need to reposition the steering wheel, and yeah.